hear what's been said and communicated. Sorry, my video just cut out. But I'll continue with this.
Nothing's been done. So I was targeted in Edmonton previously over a man by the name of Petro Estefayu with a group of women. His cousin was involved. And calling my employer, and I caught them. They called private caller after calling with their own number on call display, and then causing issues around the city, locating people. And I was threatened on Facebook, and it's all.
And this woman has 2 kids in her care. And, you know, is constantly causing me problems and recruiting people that I knew. I was threatened on Facebook over this gentleman and threatened about another female. I don't know how they got my family involved, but this is what was been going on. And there are some YouTubers that know, but rest assured, and now they're shocking me in the back. You're not getting out of it. I don't know who you thought you were messing with, but I'm not losing my livelihood for you. If anything, you'll be getting sued and charged and thrown in jail. And I want every prisoner to know what you do in the bathroom. Nobody wants you watching their children in the bathroom, asking to smell my vagina, asking to talk to me while I'm wiping stool from when I'm going to the bathroom. Everybody needs to know that you're that person. You're not humiliating me because I'm cleaner than all of you, but I will humiliate you with it. And you've played a game with the wrong person, and you're wasting a lot of my time and money, and I've had it. You're going to be on the news. You're a hiding coward, and nobody likes a coward.
It's all in my messenger, and they've kicked me off of all of my social media, locked me out of all of it.
Okay. Just a couple of things here, Shannon. I'm surprised that the Calgary Police Commission did not get back to you.
No, they didn't.
Because I've been a social worker for over 30 years, and when people call the police...
They have not. And actually, when they actually did do it once in December of 2024, and they said I didn't have enough evidence. So since then, I've had to endure this, lose my house, because I should not have to go through a whole situation to tell somebody that I'm being cyberbullied and stalked and being threatened. That shouldn't happen. I don't need resources coming out of my ears and evidence to prove that there's a cyberbullying and cyberstalking situation. But whoever this person is that has connections to someone you're not above the law. The President of the United States is not above the law. And you are nothing. You're nothing. You're going to jail and you owe me millions. Your parents are getting sued. Let them know. And hopefully they don't have a heart attack over what you've done, but you have cost me a fortune and you're not getting out of it.
The police commission?
Nothing's happened. I also actually called the organization for the chief of police and police officers. And I don't know if I sent it to you, but Teresa Berube, she said she was blocking everyone. I can send you that email. So they have a digital marketing front or some kind of company that defrauds websites, government sites, lawyers, and so on. Because I'm very self-sufficient. I would have sorted this out very quickly. But my mom, in fact, was targeted for quite some time. And it's connected to people that have committed perjury in court, connected to law enforcement and so on, trying to push their weight around and cause me problems for years. But there has been no communication. No thorough communication.
Shannon, is, the Women's Center in Bridgeland has a wonderful free, you can make an appointment with a lawyer for free on different matters, so could be yours.
So again, with this woman, so she's called me twice and there was no call display. She's with the crisis team. And I was given her information by a really sweet girl that helped me to get this phone that I have, which is already compromised. She called private caller on 2 different occasions, left no number. I didn't set up the voicemail on this phone because it doesn't matter because somebody has access to it. And I can hear them laughing and communicating right now. Really mentally unstable. Like, these people have a home, they have spouses, they have children, or they have a double life going on. But you're going to prison. And I'm suing your family. you're not causing problems for me and not being held accountable. You're going to cause problems, you're going to be held accountable, and then some. And every single person you've dragged into it. But, she had called me on 2 different occasions. Private caller, no voicemail. Well, you don't have a voicemail set up where you could send a text message. Or I don't know how to reach this person. Tons of emails were sent. I've also sent her an email about this resource center that she was talking about. She hasn't reviewed anything. She is not prepared to communicate with me. There was something dated a year ago, June, to this resource center, and then there was an email coming back again that said that they're not able to help. So it could be these people on my internet, on my emails and so on. They cost me a lot of time and money, and you're going to pay. I can't use my own ovaries for children, and you've got kids and you're an idiot. That's going to be a problem for me.
Yours sounds criminal. You could fill out a form and they can book you an appointment for like a free 20 to 30 minute time slot with a lawyer who can then direct you to whatever you're looking for. Just because I
am really furious because they have blocked me from having kids, and I would have been an older mom later. But these women that have the kids have bad manners. They're not raised properly. They also, not a single one of them in this group that's been targeting me can afford their children. They can't afford to live without a guy or income help. They can't raise their kids on their own. They couldn't afford a mortgage on their own. They can't pay for their kids on their own. And this, all these women in this group that's been a problem to me and seen across the street from the nursing home. Not a one of them could raise their children if their husband dropped dead tomorrow. They couldn't live in their house. And they're causing problems for me. So I'm going to make sure that their children are removed. Because if they are doing this, who's watching the kids? Morning, noon, and night. And what kind of a stable person? If you're a mother and a parent, first priority is the safety of your children, your home. They're acting like high schoolers, and they're in their 50s. Or older. Or they could be a little bit younger. The fact remains, anybody that cares about their family and children doesn't do this. Because you want to protect the stability of your kid, your child, and you don't have the time. They've caused a big problem, and I'm coming after them all for it.
I do is not, what I'm trying to say is I can't help you with your issues. Your issues sound safe, like there's some safety issues, like there's a police issue. Now, if the police don't help, that's where the police commission comes in.
And ACERT.
Yeah, so if they're not helping, then I'm confused because I've never, ever had them not respond, ever.
Well, I have ample emails and I have cassette recordings, so I had to buy myself, I don't know how old you are, Serene, but I'm 50. And back in the day, we had a cassette recorder. So
I'm older than you, yes.
So please believe me, Walmart threw out all the cassette tapes that they had, and I have to order them from Amazon. I'm paying for that. And bought a cassette recorder to record phone calls because of credibility and defamation of character. And no one has, like, the amount and the ample times that I've called. I also have text messages saved and so on. And thank God for Katia, because she helped me get a phone. But this is a real problem. I need help. I think it's going to be on the news.
So the other thing is, it's Friday. So I've been drinking today as well. Of course I do. I can't sleep through the night. They bother me. This phone call is being, like, she's calling me at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We arranged it because I missed her private caller twice. But I'm actually a little bit impaired when we're having this communication. I don't have a car. I do have a Jeep, and it's incurring debt every day, which I'm suing them for, plus my credit score. I just want this person dragged. Like, I didn't want them dragged. They want to be dragged, and I'll do it. I'll put them on display, let everybody know what they've done and who is helping. I want to look at their income, too. Want to look at their kids. Want to look at their upbringing. Look at their environment. Look at what goes on in their home. But when she had called me, I'm already a little bit half in the bag here. But, it's, what do? You just sit and wait and get no response from anyone continuously, like at all.
Serena, because the abuse is so bad and for such a prolonged period of time and so against every charter of right, human rights, civil rights. And I was a YouTuber for part-time income. I normally am in dentistry, so I have been a dental consultant, dental office manager for 27 years. I also went to dental hygiene school, but I went to a school that was not accredited, and because of things beyond my control with family, not helping my mom while I was in school, it was a real problem. But I need help to get somebody to get a cert involved and the King's Court bench. I'm filing something, but I feel like in the 21st century in a first world country, my mother's death would not have happened. And I tried, and they have also got the ability to block internet searches. And somebody was also text messaging someone using my phone number, but I took advice of police. I feel like somebody connected to them has caused this, and has cost me
So, took advice, change your number, change your IP address, which was terrible advice. And was one of the police officers, they have recording devices. Some kid, a black police officer, came with an East Indian to my house, wearing their shoes on my white carpet. Didn't do what they didn't do anything. Probably aware, he told me to delete and erase my laptop, and I wouldn't, because by this time this group has cost me a fortune, about $500,000 by that point, when he showed up in 2021. You change your IP address and you're the only person in the neighborhood that's changed the IP address, they know who you are instantly. Well, that must be her, because it's brand new. Not only that, several cell phones, changed my phone number 10 times, emails, dentistry emails, continuous emails, phone numbers that I've had, the same variation for 10 or 12 years. Big problem. Got a law enforcement officer here that's got a crush on somebody that is obviously, putting out, not financially stable. They got some kind of low self-esteem or peer pressure issue, but I intend to expose them for it, because these women are the bottom of the barrel. They steal from people, they lie and they cheat, and they use people for money. They also don't like being surpassed in any form, even if you're not in communication with these people. And I'm not putting up with it, but this little crush is going to make headlines, believe me. No pun intended.
Yeah, fortunate. I've also, my mom, she was elderly, she had health concerns, but she was at her baseline, she was stable. And you can see the decline in her with images and so on. But also getting Facebook, Instagram, Apple, you will be able to see very quickly that somebody has been on and breaching my privacy. And they will be able to find out whose phones were on and so on, because that is something that police uses to find out in cyberbullying, cyberstalking situations, who's breached confidentiality and privacy, but they're not doing it. The evidence is there, Serene.
Do you want the website address for the Women's Center so you can fill out the online form?
Did you see the email that I sent? And I talked to Rose, and I sent an email last year. So this is what I'm talking about. It's a massive lawsuit because of the extended period of time that I've gone through this. But if you see from the email that I sent back to Katya, and God bless her, she's so kind. I'm Ukrainian, actually, a little bit Turkish, but it's always nice to have more people that are, from your background and so on. But I sent an email back to her from Rose and the Women's Center, and I sent it to her, also date stamped, that they didn't follow up, and they could not help. So I can send that to you as well.
But was that the Women's Center or legal guidance?
Well, I don't know that I need legal guidance as much as I need the King's Court Bench and ACERT. Can you contact anybody with ACERT or the King's Court Bench? Can you act as a liaison or an advocate for that? Because this is where we are at this point.
I can't act as a liaison, but I could call police and ask them to come visit you and just say, hey.
But they have done that. So Officer McDonald came out May 25th and did nothing. He looked at my Instagram. You know what he told me? He said to me, LAPD could not be contacted from Canada. Los Angeles Police Department. My aunt is an American. She told me she was compromised before. I didn't, and I dismissed it. I feel horrible. But that in itself is ridiculous because we have snowbirds here. And people are in Canada 6 months of the year for the weather. Also, we have property in the United States if we needed to report something. Also, Serena, I actually have a friend. I don't know if you know who John F. Kennedy is and his family.
John F. Kennedy, like the...
John F. Kennedy and Robert.
Like the famous?
Famous, yes. And so I was in Hyannisport. And I tried to email them as well because I have a friend that knows Eunice, the Shrivers, knows the kids, knows Robert's kids, knows the grandkids very well. And I tried to communicate with them because I actually have met him. And he is a friend. And if their websites are...
Like John F. Kennedy?
Yeah, like John F. Kennedy, who's passed away. Like right now, he'd be 110. But he has grandchildren. And so one of his grandkids is campaigning right now in New York. And if their websites are defrauded, so somebody is tampering with my emails, my phone calls, the internet, the IP address. And there was a Tyler John Patrick from he was in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's actually Nancy Guthrie-esque. Somebody was documenting things on my iPhone, and I was not typing anything. But yeah, John F. Kennedy from Hyannisport is his connection to somebody that I know that knows his entire family, the grandkids, and everybody since then. So obviously he has known Caroline, like the grandkids and so on, and his children. Not JFK. He's like in his 70s, but he knows the family very, very well. And I have tried to email them, and it's not been fruitful because there would have been something done. Also, they don't want to be misrepresented. So I have, basically, somebody has caused a massive security and privacy breach and caused a lot of problems, and they're interfering with communication, internet, and Wi-Fi, and it needs to be. Well, my mom was abused. You can tell with images and so on the decline in her after they started targeting us for money and so on. But yes, the Kennedys. He is a friend of mine, and he knows the Kennedys quite well. Caroline, he knew John before he, had an accident and passed away, and he knows Robert F. Kennedy's grandchildren and so on. And I have tried to email. They will not. They're huge on civil rights, but I have tried to communicate, and it's a big issue because they are massive on human rights, civil rights, and so on. But if their websites are defrauded by how they would respond to email or communication, or how they would respond to a human rights issue. I mean, I tried everything because I was trying to keep my mom safe and keep myself from having this avalanche of disaster. But somebody here knows somebody, and possibly somebody in the U.S., but I mean, they could always contact several different people. Targeting, they're bragging about what they did to my mom in a nursing home. They're also bragging about antagonizing Deanna Erickson, who's a missing Calgary woman. She was renting next door in Copperfield, and she did have a drug impairment or some kind of problem. I don't. That's also defamation of character. They tried to do that to me, but for her, they are bragging about antagonizing her, and the day she went missing, she was quite frazzled and stressed. She probably wouldn't have realized it was cyberbullying. And her body was found, her remains were found 2 months ago. Really, really horrible. A lot of police neglect and connected to someone. But I mean, if I get it to Brian Enton or CNN, we don't want, well, we do. Actually, I do at this point, like the neglect and the gross negligence of Alberta law enforcement. Probably highlighted massively.
I'm sorry that you're going through all this, Shannon. It sounds like, I don't even know how to, it sounds like a lot.
Well, it's like cyberbullying, and the threats are about my mom, what they did to her. They want me to be destitute. When I'm trying to type an email, so they're on my laptop and phones. Police initially, they made me, I shouldn't have had to go through this, but they did this. Didn't even research who was making wellness calls to me, which were out of the blue, because I live on my own. I was a homeowner. They didn't do any of that. It was out of malice and defamation. They didn't do anything, and I think ACERT needs to be involved. Also, I know ACERT needs to be involved, but then, using burner phones, and it was caught, and I filed a report, but prior to that, when police came to my home, I gave them a lot of information. They did nothing with it. So they are connected to someone that I know and causing problems for me, and they are mentally ill. They need to be arrested. They need to lose their jobs. They need to be apprehended, held accountable.
What I can do, Shannon, the only thing I can do if you'd like is I can call the police and I can say that, you want this investigated, you want ACERT potentially involved if they feel it's necessary.
And I'm going to play for you the police that showed up here right after this. I think the video or the recording is 54 seconds. That's how helpful they were. And they have been this way the whole time. So my landlord, after I lost my house, I came here and I lost my mom. I came to Calgary, and no support and no help. Called the police, did nothing. Then I arrived here February 1st, 2025, and I was trying to protect this family from their privacy being breached, but she was pregnant with her 6-month-old son. And these people don't care. They've delved into this house. They don't have permission. They have used technology, and they use it continuously on me in this house, even when the kids are standing right next to me. So, someone wanted to take me down and target me. Person's a loser. Why don't you, it doesn't matter now because they're going to prison, but had you, not been so insecure about me and watching what other people are doing, you could have launched your own life. You didn't want to do that. Again, I think it's irreversible damage, killing my mom like that, not helping her, and then constantly telling me, and how long you've been watching me for. But your parents, I'd like to put a bullet in their brain because they've raised you. This person that's done this to me. And then targeting my mom and harassing her and shocking her. The way that they shock and hit me on the knuckles, the ankle bone, they were hitting me. I recorded the other night. They do this continuously. I want them on display. And then I want them in jail because they watch people in the bathroom and they watch these little kids in the house, and the kids will be playing around me and they'll do the abuse. Can you imagine? I want this person on display. You're going to dial into people's homes and make them lose their house, and you're going to target me and take me down because you're a loser? Think again.
Well, I have filed with the King's Court bench, Serene. So the King's Court bench will typically send back an auto reply or send back something, and they haven't. So perjury of the court is 14 years in prison, and there's nothing that's come back. And I am acting as a surrogate for this family because they are ESL. And there is, when this...
English is a second language, and they probably, and actually they didn't even, they synced my roommate's brother's phone illegally. So they probably, what they have said, and the other roommates that have said that have left, is that the communication, they think it's the neighbors, were in a condo. But I know the names that they're using because they're people from my school Also, they're people that I know and I recognize the names. These people wouldn't. They wouldn't recognize that. And they've said before it's so loud they're using PA speakers or whatever they're doing and then dialing into this house. This really, you know, close the window, spam call immediately after. These people are full of drama, and I want, you want drama, and you're going to get it. But everyone's going to know what a weird mental case and a loser you are. You're going to target a female because she's prettier than you and more successful? Okay.
And this started because Calgary Police didn't do what they were supposed to. They have done a whole bunch of breaching of my privacy and confidentiality. The woman here was she was 1 month pregnant in February 2025. He's 6 years old. There's a 2-year-old.
6 months old now, but doesn't care where they're using the technology and around who. And does it continuously. And hopefully you can hear their communication now because they're communicating constantly to me. But hopefully if this is picked up and it's enhanced by, let's say, we get the FBI involved and so on, you can hear this communication. None of these people have reported or turned it in or they're involved in this. And they're a bunch of losers on welfare, on benefits, and wanting me to be the same. Didn't launch their lives, can't afford to support themselves on their own or kids. And I'm coming after these people. I'm putting it on the news. When you're coming after the seniors in my family, mixing them up, lying to them, misleading them, telling them a bunch of garbage, I got problems with that because you have broken their heart and I love those people.
2-year-old, 4-year-old, mom, dad, brother, and then we have myself and another roommate, and their privacy is completely being breached. But mine was as well in my house. my cell phone, my mom was in her long-term care facility. All of our privacy, they said they wanted to know where our money was coming from, where I got my money. They're not allowed to do that. I know that someone has an illegal connection to someone because if somebody was doing an investigation, there'd be no abuse, no lack of finance loss, no interference with anything. And they're bragging about how they tormented my mom in long-term care, and you could see it in her. But it's all, the evidence is there, Serene. So it's, you can, if somebody's doing something on my Apple.
It's not that big. I wish I could just, magically look at it and intervene and do that. That's way above my jurisdiction and my pay grade. I don't do that. Mm-hmm. But like I say, I can call the police.
Yeah. So she's the crisis person. It's above her pay grade. She can call the police. She's the crisis center. I'm being abused morning, noon, and night. Listened to. And they're listening right now. And they're on the laptop. So when I try to type, they move the cursor around. They type words and so on. To have a child like that has got to be embarrassing, that you raised a kid like this. It's got to be humiliating. That you have an adult or a child that is so mentally daft and inept. That you've got kids, but that you raised them like this. It's got to be humiliating for you. Really. But when your kid starts causing problems for me, if you don't raise your child, society will raise that child. And you're not going to like it.
And I can ask them to visit you again. I know you said that constable came out.
They don't need to visit. They need to get in the area, find out how they're doing it, or whether they're dialing in through the Sky Bell, or whatever they're doing. But I'm going to the King's Court bench because something needs to be done. The police can come here, but they don't need to come here. They just need to be like, we're dialing in, we're checking the area. Coming to talk to me with cyberbullying is not helping. They need to find out who's dialing in on the Wi-Fi. They're using Wi-Fi. They're also using location devices. I have family that have made statements. Nothing's been checked into. And they owe me money. There's fraud and so on and whatever else. But I at this point, police have done nothing.
Yeah.
When Officer McDonald came here May 25th, he said, you can't email LAPD. It's ridiculous. Because we have...
Yeah, so my LAPD, I've tried to email the LAPD. My aunt is actually good friends with the family. She was. They probably passed, probably long since passed because my aunt has passed and they were older. But Air Force One, can't reach them. Tried to contact Crispy Pizza. I don't know if they got the emails, but there's been no response. I don't even know if I have the right email. So they were blocking my shopping and they were blocking what I was purchasing and on my phone and playing around on it, and people are passing around technology using my life. Use theirs. I was against time to have kids and against time with my mom because she was older than most of my friends. Why are you wasting time with me? Why don't you waste those loser women that haven't accomplished anything in life? Why aren't you playing with their time and money? Why are you wasting mine, idiot? So I have a problem with it because I need to get, my kids could be 6 or 7 years old. And now I need to qualify, and 50 is the cutoff. So if I'm losing out on kids, you're paying and you're going to jail. But it's also, I want to use my own ovaries for that. But you are causing me a constant issue. And I mean, if you're going to have listen, seriously. I want to put this man on display, these men. And I will. And these women. But why are you wasting my time? Why don't you waste the woman that went and got herself pregnant, opening her legs for everybody and can't afford to feed her child and out of wedlock? When I'm against time to have kids, let my mom see her grandchildren, and now she's dead from the abuse. Why didn't you waste their time? I got big problems with these people. Huge.
Canadians living in America 6 months out of a year, like senior citizens and retirees and so on. If you have to report something, you can certainly contact them. Right?
So Air Force One, the United Secret Service, the Canadian intelligence. I've emailed so many places and I have so much. There's so much defrauding going on of websites, I guess that's the proper terminology. Because I can't email them. And the other thing that I think is an issue is, like, I don't know how Jack Schlossenberg's campaign has gone. I haven't watched, but I have a friend that knows the Kennedys that I met in Hyannisport, and I can tell you that they are big on civil rights and human rights, and if something has gone on, they don't want you tampering. But I'm flattered, but I'm also in awe that this person has butted into my life, and over this person, his name is, it's going to be on the news anyway, so do I care that his name is released? Not really, because there's going to be on the news that my mom has been killed. Also, my aunt was targeted. But you're going to come over here and start causing problems for me and start switching around. Apparently some Sagittarius didn't like the way my life was looking and was going, and they took it upon themselves to get on my devices, my house, and start making changes for me. Well, you're going to jail for that. Because nobody asked you to do that. You're out of your damn mind. I'm going to help you find it. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, what you would think, right? I don't know any. I believe that you can email anywhere in the world, but
exactly.
My understanding.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Shannon, with your permission, I can call CPS. I know a couple of people there, and I can ask them to follow up with you with like fresh eyes and follow up and investigate.
Yeah. Whatever you can do, because essentially, I mean, I actually have a cassette recording of Keith Morrison from Dateline NBC. Whether they're using AI voice recognition or not, that works in my favor, or it works in their favor, because it's not normal for me to go through what's going on. And it appears that they have done this.
Stressful, right? Like, I don't know, Shannon, it sounds stressful, right? And no matter what.
It's super stressful. It's very stressful because, Yeah.
So sometimes when these things happen and there's things that are beyond our control because, sometimes there's different players involved, and
But they're
there's
not
different
allowed to break the law. They're not allowed to infringe on your rights. They're not allowed to tell you what decisions you're going to make.
No, and I'm not saying that they are, but when these things happen and we're in like that waiting loop and all that, you know, often it gets stressful. So I don't know if you've got like a doctor that you talk to, like your family doctor or anybody like that.
To do with technology?
No, just when you're getting
I
stressed.
love this part. Why would you contact a medical doctor for your technical issues? Why don't you deal with the issue at hand? I love this part. This is my favorite. Like, why would you go to a baker to fix your car? The problem needs to be rectified and handled.
Stress, like we mentioned that, you know, it's a stressful situation, right? So I can call the police on your behalf because we've already talked about that. But
Is alcohol for that? I mean, I'm not a drug addict yet. I'm not. I don't like drugs of any kind. But I mean, what am I to do? Go to a. But he's not an IT person. What is he gonna do? We need the law. He's gonna tell me this. You need to go to the police. The police need to do their job. Now I'm escalating it to the King's Court bench. Stupid. And I really, for me to have to go through this, I guess it's an honor for me to put these people in jail, but it's also for somebody else. Somebody else should not have had to endure what I have had to, and for the length and duration of time is ridiculous and stupid. But for what I intend to do because of it, and God willing, King's Court bench will help with that because this has happened. Everybody, their mom and dad that didn't turn them in, their homes, their friends, and so on, need to be charged and penalized. And I hopefully can take, get them to have foreclosure, seizing their property, eviction notice, repossessing their car and their homes. That's how I intend to handle it because my mom would not be dead and my kids would be 6 years old. And targeting me constantly. Yeah, my mom. I'm upset about what's gone on, and I don't know who this. I'm just remembering the amount of times that the police came to my house, and it was somebody had listened to me in my home illegally, and then I just think about the women with this loser, like just complete idiot, like just stupid, to let a guy listen to someone in the bathroom, in the shower, watch you. And, and he's getting his jollies off. He's getting his rocks off on somebody else, and you're sitting right there. What a stupid woman, honestly.
In the interim, I don't know if you're also, taking care of yourself in terms of just making sure that you're seeing your family doctor regularly.
To do what with technology, though?
Nothing with technology. More to deal with just managing stress.
Well, I mean, the stress has to be dealt with, and so it's not, and it has nothing to do with the situation. It has nothing to do with health.
No, it doesn't, but they often bleed into each other, right? So often, say I'm
no.
looking for, test results.
And I'll be suing. I'll be suing because I'm half in the bag. I'm eating pizza. Chicken wings. I had a pizza today. Half in the bag, just waiting for somebody to do something, waiting for this to stop. And there's nothing else to do because every resource is going. Someone has access to me that they're not allowed to have and caused a major mess. And hiding. This coward. This group of losers. What else is there to do? They'll be responsible for that also. Pain and suffering. And stress. A lot of money coming to me. And then what did you say to yourself? And then bothering me in my sleep and causing a bunch of problems. It's against the law and it's illegal. And I'm owed quite a bit. I hope I win the lottery tonight. Probably won't. But if I do, look out. Because I am conducting a massive, massive investigation.
Well, you can't medicate somebody for something that is an external force that needs to be dealt with.
No, and I'm not talking about medication. Just making sure that, if, right now it's Friday, right?
Yeah.
Friday at 3:35. So a lot of places aren't open right now. So if, you know, you find yourself, for example, at 2 in the morning and you're kind of just thinking about,
It's not even that, Serene, that's not even how it happens. They're shocking me, communicating, and being very disrespectful, and using heat sensors, shocking techniques. Apparently there's new police technology, and they were passing it around and just wasting people's time. And it was mine and my mom's, wasting lives. So, you know, a medical doctor, you know, you have to fix something at the source and the root of the problem, and medication is not an answer for that. Also, it's criminal. You can't put somebody on medication because their mother was murdered or their house was broken into, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't make them, you know, that doesn't make them unqualified to have the law intervene. Also, the people that are doing this sound very mentally unstable, or they don't have a lot going for them. So I don't know if they're First Nations or if they're on welfare or social services, but Alberta law indicates accessories and accomplices to this with cyberbullying and cyberstalking. But anyone, like I would say, the unfortunate part, Serene, is that the people that are doing this have the same legal rights, human rights and civil rights as I do, even if they have done this to me. They have the same rights that I do, even if they have infringed on mine, especially being represented in a court of law. But the fact of the matter is that they are on my communication. The evidence is there. They haven't looked into it. So calling somebody insane without looking into Apple, iCloud, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter is not a mental health issue. They need to look into it.
Yeah, no, and I'm not saying it's a mental health issue. What it is often if, you know, we're waiting for something, like I know for me there's the distress center and it's open 24/7. So
but it should not, that's not an excuse for abuse ongoing. So while people are enjoying their weekends, somebody else is sitting there being abused for the next 24 to 40 hours until Monday comes along. Not acceptable and not appropriate.
No, not acceptable, not appropriate, but it, you know, sometimes they keep, right now if I call the police and say, you know, can you go visit Shannon? We don't know when they're going to come out to you, right?
Well, and that's the problem. They should be coming immediately because I'm being shocked and abused and there's kids in this house. Also, they should have been doing something a long time ago. And yeah, police also, Serene, you know what else, Serene? Serene, police also have recording devices on them. And they would have them in Edmonton as well, that they didn't do what they were supposed to do. They didn't follow up on anything. Law enforcement is supposed to have their activated recording devices on.
And I just got abused, so I just got shocked in the head, on my wrist. Yeah.
For your conduct. You know, somebody calling on a 911 call is distressed. Somebody relaying a lot of information about stalking for a long period of time is distressed. They're not put into mental health and being screened for that. Somebody knows something, and I feel very strongly with King's Court Bench and the ACERT that will be discovered. But as far as how you want to be perceived on the news and so on, and with, you know, help and so on, nobody needs to go through this at all. Not for 1 minute more. I shouldn't have had to. It's wasted a lot of my time and money, a lot of valuable time with my mom in a long-term care facility.
Yeah. Okay, so if everything, so what I can do then, if, you know, sounds like you're doing well other than this situation, what I will do, Shannon, is I will call the police and I will ask them to visit you. I'll let them know that.
And abused again right now. So these people they're responsible, and they also have, like, they're not alone, so they're in a group, responsible, watching and enabling somebody else abuse me and abuse my mom when she was alive, continuously with technology. So look forward to that. because you're getting sued and thrown in jail.
That you're telling me that you're being shocked and abused, and hopefully they'll come out sooner.
Cyberbullied?
Sorry?
Cyberbullied, cyberstalked?
Yeah, that's, but yeah, I think the shocking and the abuse.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll explain all.
And eavesdrop in the house with another innocent family.
Yeah, and what is your address, Shannon?
103 Copperfield Lane. You have law enforcement that you're connected to?
Well, I know several police officers have been doing this a long time, but I will also just...
And abusing me again on the wrist. And you're getting charged. And so is your friend that's sitting next to you that's allowing... So this is going on, and they're abusing me while these... You know, the other thing I can't stand... So the communication is quite juvenile, but these women are very juvenile mentally. They want to be in high school again. I don't. And like I said, I want a restraining order because they're acting like children with my money. But these people, God willing, the kids are put in jail and you're charged if they are your children. You know, you blocked me from having kids, wasted my time and money. The other thing that was said is somebody wanted to slow me down, put me on their sleeping schedule. I think it was Tyler John Patrick. So that, you know, they could monitor. You're not allowed. This person's like out of their mind. And whoever's helping this person, I'm coming after this person. But legally. And throwing you in prison and putting you on display. You've got major head problems. But the other thing is you're going to have your kids bother me while you're partying with your friends and drinking. Don't subject me to... I'm not your kid's source of entertainment. If I had my children, I'd be entertaining them and hanging out with them, and they would be doing something productive, probably. Or maybe not on a Friday night. But I wouldn't be sicking them on you because you're bored. Then you shouldn't have them. And they should be in jail. And so should you.
I would also contact Douglas McClellan and Robert. They are Katie McClellan's sons. And she has been contacted because of a LinkedIn account. And I don't know if she was receiving my information. Darren Balsam. Somebody has also defamed my character, saying I had a mental illness and schizophrenia. And so it's like my legal right to find out who did that. So I was abused with mental health because of the people that were defaming my character. I had to be taken in forcefully. The first physician has been doing this for 30 years. There's nothing wrong with me. Then there's a second and a third. So I want to know who is a law enforcement officer that wrote...
And look forward to the next recording. Police came. 54 seconds. It'll be coming up here in a minute.
All those defamatory comments about me, because there isn't anything wrong. It's cyberbullying and cyberstalking. And they knew that. And the first...
We also got one of these, there's not as pretty, and the ugliest in the group of friends. Sorry, it's the truth. And causes problems and lies. And she's got a bisexual with this guy that I've been tortured over her cousin. And they have a relationship outside of the extramarital affair. She's committed perjury of the court. So while I had to endure this, she's lied in court. She didn't provide the information. It's 14 years. I can't wait to drop the hammer on this ugly loser that's always caused problems and was stalking me with his cousin and causing a bunch of problems. But my mom's investigation was delayed. And so was my aunt's because of this lying ugly mouse that's been causing problems for me for years with their brother. So they are using law enforcement. Then they hang out with people that have a criminal record longer than your forearm. They're playing both sides, and I've had enough of it. So, I mean, I wouldn't, you know, I'm God willing, I can just take their things and sell it. I mean, if I took her house, it would be not even a dent in the debt that nobody would want to live in her home. But it would be barely a dent into the debt and the money that she owes me. Anyhow, perjury of the court, not providing the information. They're abusing me on my head right now. Lying about her involvement and contact in breaching a peace bond that shouldn't have happened because they were stalking me and antagonizing me prior, and I wasn't in communication with any of these losers. So, I'm looking forward to that as well. Moving on.
first doctor was I was thankful because I was so angry, and my mom was left in a long-term care facility where we were being targeted as well, and she was being targeted and stalked, and there is nothing wrong, but there's a law enforcement officer that said that I have a mental health disorder and schizophrenia. I should be finding out about it in other means other than a police car. But I want the name of that, Serene, if you can help. I want the name of the officer that wrote those notes, because it's a lawsuit.
Yeah, that's a total, freedom of protection of privacy and all that. They would never give me that because I'm just a social
but
worker.
I've also sent the email to request that nothing's come back. But I want to know who's done it, because I was taken in by a constable. I think his last name was Harris in Edmonton, and it was against my own free will, because I was being cyberbullied and cyberstalked, and my house was being listened to by somebody connected to people, but that I don't communicate with, and not doing as well financially. I make $70,000 a year normally, Serene. I'm also a dental consultant, and I also started a YouTube business. So I'm very financially stable. I was a caregiver, power of directive, power of attorney for my mom. But I need to know who's made those derogatory comments. And I think when it gets on the news, which it will, because it's
insane.
Well, this sounds, and it probably is the way that they want it to sound. It sounds outlandish. It sounds extreme, but the facts are the facts. And when investigations are done with iPhone, Apple, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, they will know who's been on. They'll be able to find out who's logged in.
Yeah, that's from a technology perspective, I'm sure that's pretty easy. What I will do, Shannon, is I will call the police right now, and I'll ask them to visit, and I'll explain that it's urgent because of the shock and abuse, the cyberbullying, and then
dialing in.
We'll leave it with that.
My mom wasn't, I don't know how they're dialing into, I think they would know how law enforcement can dial into hospitals or houses using Sky, but I don't know how they do it. I don't know if this is from the United States, but there's massive abuse. So I think if Brian Enton or CNN, Keith Morrison, if they do an investigation on Calgary police, it's not going to be good. And they should. You cannot continue to say somebody's having an issue when it's on every government website. And also, I shouldn't have had to endure this to this point to get help. Yeah.
Well, I will call police and they'll come visit you, and I hope that it all gets resolved, Shannon.
What else can you do, Serene, to help me?
What I do is I'm an internal social worker. Mm-hmm. So what I do is if somebody is, say, for example, trying to get on fair entry, but they don't have the right documents, I'm a registered social worker, so I would be able to perhaps write them a letter once I've done the financial assessment. So from what you're telling me and what you need is not what I can provide.
Okay, and the police officers that you know have a lot of integrity.
Almost every police officer I've ever worked with has had integrity.
Well, I'd like to let you know that I have a law enforcement officer that's a very good friend of mine. He is a police officer in Regina. And because of this, his information has been grabbed because of my iPhone being compromised, my internet, my IP address, and so on. His kids were threatened. And he is a longtime friend of mine. His daughter, his names were looked up and so on.
Okay.
All right?
I'm okay with that.
I'm not okay with that. Because had law enforcement done their job in December 2015, 2024, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah. No, I'm okay if you're saying that they would look at my information or something. That's what I thought you were saying.
Yeah, my friend is a police officer in Regina. He's a longtime friend. His kids, because of that, obtaining my iPhone, my Facebook, and so on. But this has gone on for way too long. And something needs to be done, and police officers
And getting abused on my ankle right now.
only need to be turned in, because if their technology has been stolen, they haven't reported it. How are they reporting to work every day? You know, there's integrity, and you know, my mom passed away because I could not get the help I needed from defamation of character. Jana Erickson was very stressed the day she went missing. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry that you're going through all this, and I will now hang up with you, and I'll call police, and hopefully they can assist you from there.
Cyberbullying and cyber stalking. They don't, you know, they should let me know they're going to start screening in the area and in the house, but they communicating with me, they don't really need, like, I can't, they can let me know they're here, but they need to do something.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I will. You're welcome. I will make this referral right now.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Take care.
Bye.
Yeah. So here we go. Here's my communicate. Here's the help.
To contact somebody about your mental health, you can go to the hospital or 911.
Yeah, aren't you guys here for the cybercrime issue?
No, not at all. I'm just here for checking on your welfare.
But you're not fixing the cyberbullying issue.
No, that's not why I'm here.
And Serene sent you.
I don't know who Serene is, but it just says that we were contacted by a social worker. So.
Yeah, Serene works for the crisis team, just because I'm having a cyber issue.
Okay, sure. Okay, yeah, I'm not here to obviously discuss that.
Okay.
You look like you're in good health.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
Fat.
Follow up with that with you
Okay.
at appropriate channels.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's just play that again here, because I cannot believe. So that's how that went. Seriously. Yeah, let's play that again.
To contact somebody about your mental health, you can go to the hospital or
Right, yeah.
911.
Yeah, aren't you guys here for the cybercrime issue?
No, not at all. I'm just here
Half
for
in the
checking
bag.
on your welfare.
Half of the bag. I'm half.
But
in
you're
the
not
bag.
fixing the cyberbullying issue.
No,
Going
that's
no
not why I'm
place.
here.
Yeah.
And Serene sent you.
I don't know who Serene is,
Yeah.
but it just says that we were contacted by a social worker. So.
Yeah, Serene works for the crisis team, just because I'm having a cyber issue.
Okay, sure. Okay, yeah, I'm not here
Okay,
to
sure.
obviously discuss that.
Okay.
You look like you're in good health.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
Fat.
Follow up with that with you
Okay.
at appropriate channels.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appropriate channels. So that's how that's gone. Putting it on YouTube. If anybody can help, my mom was abused and murdered. They threatened her. They said they were looking at her naked. I'm being shocked here. There's a young family here. Thanks so much.